Search and rescue operations in the flood-devastated areas of the Texas Hill Country have shifted to a recovery phase as the one-week mark approaches. Authorities have confirmed at least 120 deaths across 6 counties in the wake of the July 4th floods. There's still, as we heard early in this week, there's about 173 people still missing. As Texans grapple with the fallout from the natural disaster, the nation continues to rally behind them, offering prayer, assistance, and more. Joining me to discuss this is Scott Turner, Secretary of the U.S. Department for Housing and Urban Development. And he's a Texas native. He actually was in the Texas legislature before joining the first Trump administration, helping with their enterprise zones. He is now Secretary of HUD. And Secretary Turner, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, sir. Great to be with you. Always a pleasure to see you, Tony.
Well, I was just thinking Dr. Carson was a great ally in the first Trump administration at HUD. He had just the right disposition. I can't think of anybody else who could step into that role that could do it just as well as you. And so we're thankful that you're there. Thankful for the ministry spirit that you bring to this. I saw earlier in this week, Tuesday at the cabinet meeting, you led the president and the cabinet praying for Texas.
Yes, sir. You know, President Trump has made it very clear that prayer is important, not just for the cabinet meeting, but for those who are in leadership and those in our country. And so we had a time of prayer for our brothers and sisters and our people in Texas. You know, we wanted to, as a cabinet, to convene and let people know that we're not only thinking about them, but we are literally making intercession for them. And so I'm so grateful to have a president who values prayer, who values faith in Christ and Christianity and really all, religions and holds up the Constitution. But to be in the White House, to be in the cabinet room and to pray is very humbling and a great honor. Well,
we're thankful for the fact that he's tapped people like you to serve in his cabinet. Now, let me ask you. I know you've been in constant touch with what's happening on the ground there in Texas. HUD is taking actions to assist. Give us the latest regarding the situation there and how HUD is involved.
Yes, sir. Well, it's a devastating situation, as we all know. Just the loss of life, the sudden impact of these devastating floods, Tony, really has just crippled and broken the hearts of so many people in our country, in particular in Texas. But I'm reminded of the resiliency of the people of Texas and the faithfulness of God, even in the valley. And at HUD, we have people at HUD, man, we really care about the people that we serve. And so right now with our loan programs at HUD to help people to rebuild their homes, to reestablish their homes, and also to own new homes, we have those loan programs available for those that have been impacted from the floods, and also working with our local partners, the whole of government from a federal, state, and local standpoint, working with faith-based institutions to make sure that we're serving people on the ground, those that are doing the search and rescue and those that have been impacted by the floods, to make sure that we're providing shelter, food, counseling, family assistance. And so HUD is here now, but we'll also, Tony, be here for the long haul. And when I tell you that we have a group of people that really care, I do mean that. And so we'll be here until the end to make sure that people's lives and homes are rebuilt.
Secretary Turner, talk a little bit. I mean, you're a man of faith. You served as a pastor on staff there in Prestonwood Baptist. Talk about the role that faith plays, not necessarily from the government, but partnering with faith-based organizations, Christian organizations that go beyond the material to touch the real heart need that often surfaces during crises like this.
Yes, sir. Our faith-based organizations in our country are doing a tremendous job. When I was in Los Angeles, California, visiting the victims of the fire there, working with the faith-based organizations, nonprofit organizations, also in North Carolina, like the Samaritan's Purse and others who are working to serve people who have been impacted by these natural disasters. I was speaking at a pastor's roundtable there in North Carolina where churches literally came together to feed those who were without food, to give water to those who are in need, to give clothing to those. One church even started a small bank to give micro loans to people to restart their businesses. And so the faith-based institutions are the ones that have their hands to the plow, Tony, and their feet on the ground that are actually doing the work. And so at HUD, we want to make it better and more attractive to work with our partners on the ground, to work with faith-based institutions, to bring about real results for the people in America that have been impacted by these natural disasters.
Secretary Turner, we just have about a minute left, and our folks here, we've challenged our people to pray for the next 30 days for the folks of Texas. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick was on the program, and he said, don't just pray for this week, pray for 30 days at a minimum, because there are needs there, and we're doing that. But I want to ask you, it's the first time you've been on the program since you've taken this role as Secretary. 45 seconds, how can our viewers and listeners be praying for you?
Well, thank you, Tony. I would say please pray for those that have been impacted by these natural disasters in Texas and around our country, and also pray for our president, for our cabinet administration, and all of those who serve in public service. As we serve the people of America, I pray that we would be strong, that we would be healthy, that we would lean on the everlasting arm of the Lord, that our eyes would not be taken off of Him, but we would look to God. We would look to Christ for wisdom. We will look to Him for strength and clarity, because as we put our hands to the plow, we're doing it in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ to serve those He's called us to serve. And so as people intercede for us, just pray for God to keep us strong, to keep us humble, and to keep us to where our eyes are stayed on Him.
And we will do just that.